I'm just going to keep on talking until Rob lets me know that we are good. Check, check, check. 1, 2. Keeping on talking to make sure that the sound that's coming through in the booth is acceptable to the person who is recording up in the booth. I'm also looking at the rest.
Good morning, folks. If I could get you to take your seats, please. Welcome to our 2016 Festival Press Conference. My name is Chris McDonald, Hot Docs President, and I'm here with Brett Hendry, our Executive Director. Thank you very kindly for being here with us this morning. We're joined by our Board of Directors and Co-Chairs Michael McMahon and I hope Robin Mirsky, our Cinema Advisory Board, Founder Circle members, volunteers, filmmakers, supporters, staff, and media. As you know, Hot Docs' mandate is to showcase and celebrate this remarkable art form and to help doc makers get their projects financed, completed, and seen. Two of the Canadian films that we supported financially through our Shaw Media Hot Docs Fund and through our market events were shortlisted for Oscar nominations a few months back. Our industry program team works with hundreds of filmmakers each year, which Elizabeth Radshaw will detail shortly. In the meantime, congratulations again, and thanks to filmmakers Adam Benzine and Anne Shin. Now, I touched something. The old guy touched something again. Someone fix it. One of the young people come fix this, please. Now, with respect to showcasing documentaries, you're sitting in the world's first documentary-focused cinema, which I'm very fond of repeating. The Bloor Hot Docs Cinema celebrated its 4th anniversary last week, and we've welcomed almost 800,000 people through our doors. This particular experiment has exceeded beyond expectation. We've screened hundreds of great docs that would not have had a theatrical release in Toronto otherwise. So I'd like to again thank our partners at Blue Ice and our doc makers for their remarkable work. Thank you all, and Brett.
Thank you. Good morning, folks. Today's always an exciting day. We get to pull back the curtain and share with all of you a year's worth of collaboration and hard work, of course, by our programming team, but also our incredible operations, industry communications, technical events, and development team. I have to tell you guys that our colleagues are all geniuses who happen to love documentaries, and they've come up with brilliant ways to make this year's festival not just bigger, but better, more curious, more daring, more innovative, and more fun than ever before. We say this all the time, but it's really true. Toronto audiences are the best in the world. Last year, we welcomed 200,000 doc lovers to the festival, and we're on track for another record, fingers crossed, this year. We really try to never take our audiences for granted, nor do we underestimate their desire to seek out intelligent, diverse, and challenging films. So the filmmakers Hot Docs is proud to champion this year use storytelling and their creative gifts to bring us wondrous, inspirational, and incisive films, movies that will spark dialogue, debate, and even some change. You'll see those qualities well reflected in this year's festival, which will feature an incredible 232 of the world's hottest docs. We're proud to present, this is a big record for us, 118 world and international premieres showcasing films from 51 different countries. Filmmakers from around the world will come to this festival and their jaws will drop when they see the lineups around the block to see their movies. This incredible slate, which I should note includes 40% of films by female filmmakers, was selected from over 2,700 submissions, and I'm excited to welcome up our Director of Programming, Shane Smith. Shane and the team have put together an incredible program, and we are very excited to open the festival this year with the world premiere of The League of Exotic Dancers, directed by hometown talent, Rama Rao. Full of profound stories of independence, freedom, and personal strength, The League of Exotic Dancers features a dazzling array of groundbreaking and vintage burlesque artists as they prepare for a rare Hall of Fame reunion performance. These amazing women share how, in the face of sexism and discrimination, they carved their own career paths to do it their way. Thanks to our opening night sponsor, NBC Universal, and also big congratulations to producer Ed Baraveld, Storyline Entertainment, Keno Smith, the Documentary Channel, OMDC, Telefilm, and CMF for their support of this fun and fabulous film. Now let's take a quick look at the trailer.
I always wanted to be a model, and my mother said I couldn't do that because devils did that, and they showed their underwear and everything. Boy, she got a surprise now. I show more in my underwear.
One of the nicest things you can do for your body is to like put on some music and dance. If you can dance naked, even better.
I started in burlesque in 1959. Full feminine love goddess. That's basically what we presented.
There was very few jobs a woman can do in 1960s.
I was bored with my life.
I wanted to be memorable.
I found myself on the stage, and I know who I am now.
The women of my generation, I'm proud to say this, gave you guys the freedom that you've got now. There was a sense of empowerment. And so I got to be a bad girl.
I didn't know I was pioneering. I just knew I was working.
We were making burlesque history. You know, we were becoming stronger women by doing that.
This is my moment, it has come. It was an adventure.
Those years were the happiest years of my life. I also did a lot of drugs and drank a lot of champagne.
No, I really shouldn't be alive now, but I am alive.
I recently received a phone call from the Burlesque Hall of Fame inviting me to perform.
And I said, are you out of your mind? It seemed impossible to go back after 33 years when I left it that long ago, feeling old then. It's transformative. It's absolutely magical.
At 73, I do feel I want to be provocative sometimes. This is a 66-year-old strength.
Good morning. I bet you're awake now. Even I'm excited. It's amazing to bring a Canadian film back to opening night of Hot Docs, particularly one from a filmmaker with a long, deep connection to Hot Docs via her participation in our programs and her mentorship of emerging filmmakers. Rama Rao's last film, No Place to Hide, the Rehtaeh Parsons story, had its world premiere at the festival last year, and League of Exotic Dancers, featuring an incredible cast of characters, all of whom are outspoken and outstanding. It's the perfect kickoff to a spectacular festival. So dust off your feather boa, glue on your pasties, and get ready for the ride of your life. Here to say a few words, please join me in welcoming Rama Rao, Director of League of Exotic Dancers.
Thank you, Shane. Hi, everyone. We are thrilled that our film, League of Exotic Dancers, has been invited to be opening night film at Hot Docs. Producer Ed Barweld of Storyline Entertainment and I thank Hot Docs for seeing that this film will start the festival with a bang. No pun intended. This is a film that will have you laughing, crying, and shimmying, even as you glimpse an alternative view of feminism in North America. League of Exotic Dancers was made with an all-female crew and celebrates all things female. We come in all colors, shapes, sizes, and ages, and it's about time we celebrated our bodies in mainstream media. The women in our film certainly do, and we want you to join us in the celebration with intimate confessions from the glamorous world of burlesque. Some of their stories have never been told before, mostly because no one asked. No true tale of beauty is without elements of tragedy and loss. And with a history so shrouded in its own glamour, burlesque will always have at least one enduring quality: its inimitable mystique and unforgettable style. You'll see the underbelly of burlesque, but you'll also see the steel under the silks, the glitz, the glitter, the glamour of burlesque. But more than anything, you'll meet the wildest women of your life. Before I finish, a big thanks to Bruce Cowley, CBC, Robin Smith, and of course our all-female crew, Iris Eng, Mary Wong, Shasha Nakai, Steph Corfield, all of who helped make this film. And a big shout out to producer Ed Barweld. Thank you.
Thanks, Rama. Imagine what the opening night party is going to be like. Just saying. This year's Scotiabank Big Ideas program at the festival continues Hot Doc's tradition of engaging with the sharpest minds on the most provocative of topics. The program this year includes... That work? How about now? A deep dive into the trial of the century, the creation of celebrity and race relations in the USA via the ESPN docuseries O.J. Simpson, Made in America, with special guests. I'm not promising O.J. An expose of the prevalence of sexual abuse as a weapon of war through the eyes of World War II comfort women fighting for recognition and compensation in the remarkable National Film Board of Canada documentary, The Apology, directed by Tiffany Seung. Meet the inspirational Razia Jan, founder of the Zabuli Education Center in Afghanistan and a staunch advocate for women's education, featured in director Beth Murphy's empowering film, What Tomorrow Brings. Tony Robbins is here to fix us all, me first, as he joins us along with director Joe Berlinger to help unleash the power within, as seen in Tony Robbins' I Am Not Your Guru. A discussion about a justice system in crisis with 4 Latino women from Texas, wrongfully imprisoned for over a decade and recently released thanks to the efforts of the Innocence Project, as chronicled in Deborah S. Esquenazi's Southwest of Salem, the story of the San Antonio Four. And join us for a live interactive therapy session on the search for happiness, as documented in the Happy film featuring renowned designer Stefan Sagmeister, psychotherapist Sheena Henkin, and co-director Ben Neighbors. So get mad, get happy, get schooled, get inspired, get even, and get it together at this year's Scotiabank Big Ideas program. Let's watch the trailer for the Happy film.
I didn't want to make a film about questions. I thought this stuff, oh, it's not about answers, it's about the mind questions. Then all beings be.
The more correct way to live in happiness is the right kind of relationship.
Most people who avoid commitment are really avoiding conflict.
A man must train his mind like an elephant tamer tames an elephant.
This film started as a graphic design project 6 years ago. 1, 2. And somehow it all became about me.
I'm just trying to ask the questions that I think you would ask if you were
Oh, crazy. Another person crazy. Me, it's different because I have an immediate experience of me. Trying to chase after something meaningful turned out to be a big pain, yes. I spent the past 6 years of my life working on this thing that says I'm an asshole.
We're so proud of this year's Scotiabank Big Ideas series. The films and the guests are going to be amazing. Scotiabank has been an incredible partner to Hot Docs over the years. They've helped us grow our volunteer corps to almost 1,000 people. We literally could not do the festival without them. So a big thanks to all of our volunteers. And most amazingly, Scotiabank has helped us bring free documentary screenings every year to over 90,000 students across Ontario, bringing them directly into over 300 high schools. It's an incredible program. We're so proud to partner with Scotiabank. Please join me in welcoming the Senior Vice President of Canadian Marketing, Clinton Braganza.
Thank you, Brent. I'm delighted to be here on behalf of all of my colleagues at Scotiabank. You know, Scotiabank is proud to be the presenting platinum sponsor of this unique film festival. Hot Docs delivers thought-provoking documentaries on a range of topics that are important to audiences both here in Canada and around the world. The extensive festival programming, such as the Scotiabank Big Ideas series, not only gives audiences the opportunity to see different views on social issues, but also provides a platform to encourage a dialogue about these topics. This year, the series will feature 6 captivating documentaries, providing audiences the opportunity to interact with those who created or inspired these incredible films. Scotiabank has a long history and a deep passion for supporting the arts, culture, and heritage in communities across Canada. The arts exposes us to new ideas and allows us to see the world through a different lens, which provides us with inspiration to pursue our own passions. We celebrate artists who share their stories through their medium, raising awareness through art to engage the public with the issues and forces of our time. As the sponsor of Hot Docs Volunteer Program, Scotiabank would like to thank the many dedicated volunteers who work tirelessly to make this festival a success year after year. Your efforts make the experience a special one for audiences and sponsors alike, and we appreciate your dedication and hard work. And finally, yes, of course. And finally, I hope you get an opportunity to take in some of the documentaries at this year's festival. And in particular, I look forward to seeing you at the Scotiabank Big Ideas series. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Clinton. Some of you may have caught Louis C.K.'s bit at the Oscars about how tough it is to be a documentary filmmaker these days, and I think his words were, nobody's going to make a dime off of these films. We know at Hot Docs we can't change that by ourselves overnight, but we're proud to say, thanks to all of our partnerships and sponsorships, the cash prize pool at this year's festival will be bigger than ever. A stunning $167,000 will be awarded to filmmakers at this year's festival, including a new $25,000 cash prize to the Canadian film rated tops by festival audiences, thanks to a collaboration with Telefilm Canada. There's no documentary film festival in the world, and few film festivals, period, that have such a rich and deep pool of awards for filmmakers. So be sure to vote during the festival, because those awards really mean something. This year's festival is bigger than ever, but also more accessible too. Thanks to CBC Docs, we're proud that all of our daytime screenings remain free for students and seniors. New this year, we've partnered with Accessible Media Inc. and the Catherine and Maxwell Mahan Foundation to present a selection of outstanding documentaries that'll have closed captioning and described video for hearing and visually impaired audiences. The fabulous Crave TV box office is back and located at Hot Docs House. It'll be a hub of activity. It'll feature more than 30 cutting-edge interactive virtual reality docs and special events, all available to the public for free. In a dynamic collaboration with Canadian Music Week, we're proud to co-present an amazing lineup of music docs and performances, all with some of the hottest tickets at the fest. And we're proud that CMW will be co-hosting with Hot Docs a special showcase of free Canadian music inspired by the film program at Hot Docs' Mill Street Hub on the opening weekend of the festival. Through all these programs, we're really committed to making the festival and the films as accessible as possible and to reach wider audiences. We couldn't do that without our incredible presenting sponsors, Bell Media, CBC Docs, and the Rogers Group of Funds. We want to thank our platinum sponsors, Shaw Media, Mill Street Brewery, TVO, Vimeo, our lead AV partner Quest, and HMV, the presenter of our Artscape program. We couldn't do any of this without the fabulous support of our public sector partners, Telefilm Canada, the Ontario Media Development Corporation, the CMF, the Province of Ontario, and the Canada, Ontario, and Toronto Arts Councils. And a big thank you to all of the great patrons who support our work through the Hot Docs Founders Circle. As ever, the festival is a great opportunity for filmmakers to find financing, distribution, and promotional support for their film. I'm delighted to welcome up our always intrepid Director of Industry Programs, Elizabeth Radshaw.
Thank you. Hot Docs is a world leader in supporting documentary filmmakers. We welcome nearly 2,000 industry insiders to our industry activities at the festival, from first-time filmmakers to veteran award winners and our official delegations from over 8 countries. We bring them all together, and the people and the companies that have the ability to distribute and broadcast documentaries. This is our global documentary community. Our marquee event is the Hot Docs Forum and Dealmaker. It's the Dragon's Den of documentary film finance. Over the last 17 years, the Forum and the Dealmaker have raised more than $60 million for independent films. This year, we'll see nearly 20 filmmakers pitch their projects to the world's broadcasters and financiers, and over 60 projects at Dealmaker will take one-on-one meetings with buyers. 7 films that have pitched at previous forums have been selected to screen at this year's festival. Hot Docs shapes tomorrow's filmmakers through our conference and Hot Docs workshops. These are opportunities for intimate, hands-on, experiential learning. We support Canada's emerging filmmakers through Documentary Doc Accelerator and the Shaw Media Diverse Voices programs. And finally, Hot Docs will host its second high-stakes pitching contest for short documentary films. With the support of Bravo Fact, 3 filmmakers will win a combined of $75,000 at Hot Docs Short Film Pitch. We do all of that in just the 11 days of the festival. Year-round, we provide funding, training, mentorship, and support in Canada and around the world. Hot Docs Industry supports the documentary marketplace. The Hot Docs collection makes discovering documentaries for audience at home easier, and in turn creates revenue streams for filmmakers. Louis C.K. will be happy to know. The Hot Docs collection includes some of the films that we've had the honor of working on and showing at the festival. This is our family of films. The Hot Docs collection is available in Canada on our partner platforms: iTunes, Rogers On Demand, Bell 5, Cineplex Store, the Sundance Documentary Club, and Vimeo On Demand. The collection is a destination for doc lovers. And on iTunes Canada, as an added bonus, a selection of last year's titles will be available as 99-cent rentals the week before and during the festival. iTunes Canada and the US store will also host our new Hot Docs Short Docs compilations. While short docs have not historically had a market outlet, we're committed to supporting filmmakers and providing a dedicated space for them on iTunes to showcase this work. You can check out Monsters Are Real and Looking Back as they go live today. Our support for short filmmaking extends to production as well, renewing our commitment to training and supporting and equipping filmmakers with the best tech out there. Only at Hot Docs, a new program, will showcase work shot on iPhone by talented Hot Docs alumni. During the lead-up and the duration of the festival, these filmmakers will capture stories that happen behind the scenes and create shorts that will play as part of the pre-show reel of the festival. The Hot Docs funds support documentary filmmaking in Canada and around the world. Our international fund, the Cross Currents Fund, is a fund that empowers filmmakers from historically underrepresented communities to tell their stories. $10,000 was awarded to Canadian filmmaker Elmaya Tailfeathers and her project When the Dust Settles. The Hot Docs Blue Ice Fund supports filmmakers who live and work on the African continent. In the last 5 years, we've supported 30 filmmakers from countries throughout the continent that have received production and development dollars and attended our festival. This fund is expanded to $2.35 million and is the only dedicated documentary fund for African filmmakers. Hot Docs Blue Ice alumni from Senegal, Ramatao's award-winning The Revolution Will Be Televised plays at Hot Docs, and from Egypt, the film Whose Country will world premiere. We recognize the Shaw Media Hot Docs Fund that focuses on Canadian filmmakers. 10 fund recipients will screen their films in this year's festival. So Hot Docs Industry helps all these films to get made, and many more. I'd like to welcome back to the stage the gentleman who makes sure the best of these films get seen by all of you, Shane Smith.
Okay, it takes a village to put together a film festival, and I am honored and truly lucky to work with one of the best programming teams in the business, led by Hot Docs Associate Director of Programming, Serafina Di Felice, and comprised of the exceptional programmers you see scrolling in the credits right behind you. And they're an awesome, awesome team. Please thank them.
I get to talk a little bit about some of the new stuff we're going to be doing here at Hot Docs. We this year are officially introducing our new strand, DocX. It's an interdisciplinary strand that I'm going to talk about in just a second. We're also going to be putting a spotlight on short films by introducing some dedicated shorts programs this year. And we're also going to be embracing long-form episodic TV with the already mentioned ESPN O.J. Simpson documentary that is incredible. And here from home, we have Hip Hop Evolution. And there's supposed to be a slide. Hey, there it is. From Banger Films, who I'm sure a lot of you know. This is an incredible 4-part series. We're going to be showing some of it here, and it will be our outdoor series, our outdoor screening as well.
This year, the selection of films really encompasses the world and includes subjects that are inspiring, infuriating, enlightening, and entertaining. It's an exceptional year for documentary in all its forms at Hot Docs, with an incredibly diverse range of films from a festival high of 51 countries. Master Canadian and international filmmakers are working at the top of their craft, as demonstrated in Werner Herzog's Lo and Behold, Reveries of a Connected World, and Chris Hedges and D.A. Pennebaker's Unlocking the Cage. Established directors are taking nuanced and unexpected approaches to topics like the environment, disability, and reproductive health, as seen in Christian Sonderby-Jepsen's Natural Disorder, Dawn Porter's Trapped, and Kevin McMahon's beautiful and heartbreaking Spaceship Earth. And emerging masters are exploring and expanding the documentary form and our vocabulary around what constitutes quote unquote documentary in Alma Harrell's Love True and Pierre Bismuth's Where is Rocky II, just to name a few. Amongst a huge range of stories this year, styles and subjects, the personal becomes political in several of the films. In Raving Iran, the techno beats of 2 DJs are an act of political dissidence. The hunger strike, that brought global attention to the Northern Ireland conflict, is illuminated in Bobby Sands' 66 Days. Sunita is an Afghan refugee rapper who uses rhymes to channel frustrations about her family's desire to sell her into marriage. The Pearl of Africa is a transgender love story taking place in a country where an act of affection can get you killed. And in The Revolution Won't Be Televised, artistry meets activism with a hip-hop beat during the Senegalese presidential campaign. Before I turn the mic over to Serafina to talk about DocX, here are trailers from some of those titles.
I am a political prisoner because I am a casualty of a perennial war that is being fought between the oppressed Irish people and an alien, unwanted regime that refuses to withdraw from our land.
Bobby Sands, who is serving a 14-year prison term on a weapons possession charge, had been demanding special status as a political prisoner. A number of other Irish Republican Army members have joined Sands in his protest and are also well into a hunger strike.
This was drama at the absolute rawest edge it could possibly be.
You couldn't ask for a more hostile environment.
Bobby Sands is putting on a performance for the world and for his cause. That's the cause that has murdered people.
There can be no possible concession on political status.
We are not prepared to give in to blackmail in the form of hunger striking or of any other form of pressure.
Sands was trying to be the author of his own destiny.
It is not those who can inflict the most, but those who can suffer the most who will win.
Now as I write, my thoughts return to the days of my youth.
Rob was overtly identity.
I saw in this man more determination than I've ever seen in any person before.
I'm standing on the threshold of another drowning world. May God have mercy on my soul.
I wake to the touch of the morning light. You lie next to me. Holding your hands make me feel safe. Beneath, I'm feminine and free. As I step out of my dream, I wake to this body and carry on through hell. On Friday, the week that Bill was first was with a front page of rape. I said from my family members, fear growth accept, I say something.
They don't forget having.
Honey, I'm stuck there. That's all that I want to I can thank you. Uccidi io anche a settimana. Man fa dogo shane na I'm a rapper. I'm a rapper. Non mi fa pensare una sana scena. Ma che time
شبع بچه‌ها الان دیش باشن آدم دیگه میشه به خاطر چهار رفت من بیچاره بی‌بدبخت می‌کرد
Io no, mentre tutto mio detto nero, te desme importante c'è che sempre c'è sopra il serie, a ciò che deve investire, che si chiama si chiama se ma un good mere, non è lì è una ama c'è un good mere, a un good che sta a me di mere, tutto sta a me di sei ore su mi mere, un giorno che te che na gan pulso, poi a fuori fuori so.
In the past, we have shown interdisciplinary work here at Hot Docs, and the response has been so overwhelmingly positive that it really only made sense for us to expand and formalize that section this year. So DocX, this is the new section that's going to feature performances and installations, as well as interactive and VR work. We want to show you everything that documentary is doing, and it's doing a lot of cool things. Special screenings are going to include some performances from alumni Sam Green. That's him there on the side with next to the band and the cat. He was here before with a live documentary called The Measure of All Things. He's coming back with Brent Green, no relation. They'll take to the stage for a one-night only unique performance to present a selection of short live docs. We're going to be presenting Brothers in the Kitchen, a site-specific documentary performance by local artist Cyrus Sundar Singh, and a special screening of the genre-blending film Operation Avalanche. You're also going to be able to see, all of our virtual reality and interactive selections for free on the second floor of our brand new Hot Docs house at the corner of Bloor and Markham Street. And there you're going to be able to have conversations with your online persona in the project Digital Me. You'll be able to explore Toronto's rich cultural diversity with the project The World in 10 Blocks. And for virtual reality, we've partnered with a number of very impressive organizations and artists who include the United Nations, NPR, the Globe and Mail, Riot Films, the NFB, the CFC, Lucy Walker, and Felix and Paul, just to name a few. They're going to take you through a number of virtual experiences that run the gamut from what happens inside your brain when you fall in love, to adjusting to your new surroundings as a Syrian refugee in a camp in Jordan, or to performing with the Cirque du Soleil.
And our Made in Country focus this year is Australia, mate. That's authentic. Featuring an outstanding selection of new documentaries from the country, including Indigenous themed films, Another Country, Zach's Ceremony, and Putapari and the Rainmakers. Also, the sure-to-be controversial Chasing Asylum, directed by Eva Orner, takes us inside the country's notorious refugee detention centers by a hidden camera from anonymous sources. Here's the trailer for Chasing Asylum.
I knew it was a detention centre. I didn't know that people have already been there for over 400, 500 days. There's sickness, disease, infections. It feels militarised.
If you come to Australia illegally by boat, there is no way you will ever make Australia home.
You go from looking after people to saying, if you come here, we're going to make it worse for you than if you stayed where you came from.
Staff have to be trained how to use the Hoffman's knife. The knife used to cut people down when they're found hanging.
I have to forget my dreams.
Children have to be in detention according to the government's policies because it's part of the deterrence.
They're growing up on white phosphate rock in mouldy, damp tents where they have no privacy and no space. You have to learn to say to you, please come back, please don't forget about us, please don't leave us here.
اللي كنت اسمع عن الصالح انه بلد امين وبلد انسانيه انه بتحب الانسان كثير وبتحب الرجيم كثير.
Each year, we travel to dozens of festivals internationally, and as a team, we go through thousands of programming submissions to make sure that we're bringing you the best documentary work out there. Our theme programs that we present every year are meant to be sort of a representation of the trends that we're seeing while we're going through all of this work. And this year, we have two. Our first theme is the pursuit of happiness. It isn't necessarily about people who are happy, exactly. It's a documentary film festival. It's sort of about the journey for how we all get there. It's going to include films like The Happy Film, for which we already saw the first trailer, the gorgeous film The Pearl, which this slide is for, which is a portrait of 4 female trans women who are middle-aged and attend an annual conference every year where they can really be their true selves. It also includes a film called Dugma, The Button, which is a riveting film about 2 fighters with Al-Qaeda's Syria affiliate who are preparing to embark on suicide operations. Our second theme, Command and Control, groups together films about the forces that try to keep us under control and the people fighting back against them. In that program, you're going to find films like Holy Hell, which is about a man who joins a spiritualist community and then finds a cult, and Hooligan Sparrow, which is a brave film about a brave activist with that name who risks imprisonment to protest the abuse of girls and women under the Chinese authorities.
As previously announced, we celebrate the work of a Canadian mid-career filmmaker with a focus on Edmonton's Rosie Dransfeld. And the recipient of Hot Doc's Outstanding Achievement Award is renowned director Steve James. Both will join us to showcase key films from their careers. So that's just a sliver of what's in store for audiences at Hot Docs' biggest festival ever this year. Hot Docs would like to thank the following companies and organizations for providing us with films we like: Unobstructed View Inc., Kino Smith, E1, Tricon, Mongrel Media, and the National Film Board of Canada. But wait, that's not all. Save the best for last. Here to tell us about the stellar lineup of Canadian films in the festival. It's a magnificent year for Canadian documentaries. Please welcome Lynn Fernie, Senior Canadian Programmer.
I thought he was going to say the magnificent Canadian Programmer. Not so magnificent in the morning. Good morning, and I have to say that the Canadian programming team of Alex Rogalski, Aisha Jamal, Michelle Latimer, and I watched over 400 Canadian submissions this year, a record number. And we're thrilled to announce that there are also a record number of Canadian productions, 71, and co-productions. Of these, for those of you who are doing numbers, 28 are new features, 4 mid-length, 18 shorts, and 12 interactive docs by both veterans and first-time filmmakers. And 33 of these new Canadian films are world premieres. Here's a few highlights. I have to do this year, apparently. Come up, yeah. Last year I had an assistant. First of all, conflicts over resources, the environment, and Indigenous rights in Canada's North are the focus of 2 very different but equally powerful films. In Angry Inuk, Alethea Arnakak Beryl takes on the environmental organizations that raise millions through anti-sealing campaigns and minimize the devastation their campaigns have wreaked on Inuit communities and their economies. And in Konolina, Our Land Beautiful, Nettie Wild crafts a cinemascopic masterpiece, a love letter to the land and people in the Tahltan territory in northern BC as they face increased mining and exploration. Moving south, 2 stories of migration and exile. Veteran director John Walker turns the lens on his own family history in Quebec to explore a painful displacement during the Quiet Revolution that saw John and 500,000 others leave the province. In Quebec, my country, Montpellier. While Min Suk Lee's Migrant Dreams exposes debt bondage in Ontario as 2 Indonesian women in the temporary foreign worker program fight for their rights. 2 films focus on the prison system without ever, in fact, taking us into a prison. In a formally inventive meditation on mass incarceration in the US, Brett's story journeys across America in prison in 12 landscapes. I almost knocked 2 off. And Matt Gallagher captures the escalating fears people have as they face prison for the first time. They're charged with a crime and how to prepare for prison. And I have to say, if any of you are thinking of funding your next film with a small grow-up operation, watch this film first. Or fudging your taxes, truly. 5 films focus on complex characters in relation to their society's dilemmas, dreams, and challenges, and take us around the world as well as at home to do so. Gun Runners takes us to Kenya, where cattle rustlers turn in their AK-47s for sneakers and dream of becoming professional marathon runners. While Cheer Up travels to a small town in Finland near the Arctic Circle to meet the worst cheerleading team ever and their depressed but determined coach. And I'm not going to give you a spoiler alert of what happens. 65 Red Roses director Nimisha Mukherjee returns with Tempest Storm, a stunning biography of America's oldest living sex icon, tracking her journey from abused child to fame and to the beds of some of the most famous men in America. And I'm not going to give you a spoiler alert to that either. And Vancouver's Pete McCormick crafts a loving portrait of the lead singer of the Spirit of the West as he battles early onset Alzheimer's in a film called Spirit Unforgettable. And lastly, in these character-driven films, years after the murder of their estranged father, John, in the Philippines, two Toronto siblings discover that they have half-siblings in Thailand with the same names, Michael Shannon, and the father's name is John, in Chelsea McMillan's film. Okay. And just not too many more, but fans of the technologies and memorabilia of film, from 16mm home movies to costume designers and props from classic Hollywood cinema, can feast on three fascinating docs. In Random Acts of Legacy, Ali Kazemi unspools a poignant tale of middle-class Chinese-American family from home movies he purchased through an online auction that he had never seen before. And inspired by the film adaptation of H.G. Wells' Time Machine, two men, a scientist and a film animator, seek to conquer the fourth dimension in how to build a time machine in order to go backwards in time to restore some incidences from their past. And lastly, in this trio, Dorothy's Slippers from The Wizard of Oz, Star in the Slippers, a trip through the fur, the feathers, and the creations of iconic Hollywood costumes and props that have shaped popular culture and are now worth a fortune to memorabilia collectors. And just wrapping up, some of Canada's most innovative filmmaking is found in this year's record number of 18 short films. And I just want to name a few. Some of the filmmakers are here, and Virginia's team will be able to introduce you. The subjects range in conversation from conversation with the dead prime minister. If you're wondering which one, you're right, it's Mackenzie King. Of course, to Kettle, an analysis of the mass arrests and loss of civil rights in Toronto during the G20. To a miniature replica of the Boston streetcar line circa 1950, lovingly created by a man in his Toronto basement, and to the distress of his widow, it cannot be taken anywhere. It's permanent. So these are some of the wonderful shorts. There's many more, so check them all out. And just to close, I want to give a tremendous shout out and a thanks to TV Ontario again this year for the sponsorship of the Canadian Spectrum program. They are an amazing support of Canadian documentaries. Thanks, TVO. And these are only a few of the over 50 brand new premiering films. So I'll see you at the theater, and please welcome Jonathan Da Silva, our communications director, to wrap up.
So thank you. Just a few closing announcements. Single tickets for all films are now on sale. You can purchase them by phone, online at hotdocs.ca, or at the Crave TV box office located just around the corner at 610 Markham Street. Please look for the official Hot Docs screening schedule, which will be hitting the street soon and which will be inserted in next week's issue of Now Magazine. I'd like to thank you all for coming. If you're a filmmaker or publicist who will be participating in the media interview section, we ask that you remain seated while we set up the cameras. And if you will not be participating, thank you again for coming. I would invite you to join us for refreshments in the lobby, and we hope to see you at this year's festival. Thank you.
Thank you.